Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going into an EDC product, or something that I came across a little while back during my Amazon tool deal videos. And this is a brand that I've known about for maybe a year and a half. I came across Labear. Obviously it's in the title. It's a brand that I came across, and they don't sell a whole lot. They don't have a lot of products, but what they do have, they're unique and interesting. And they have some bit sets and things that I really found intriguing. And then I randomly came across this, which I've looked at a lot of EDC stuff, you know, flashlights, knives, multi-tools, things like that. A lot of things out there, little pocket pry bars, you know, things that you can carry on you all the time that are really handy. This is something that I hadn't seen before, and that being the little miniature folding bit ratchet. And while there are plenty of bit ratchets out there that are small enough that you can just toss in your pocket, this keychain version that Labear offered just really intrigued me and caught my eye, and I figured, you know, it was cheap enough that I might as well just pick it up. It's a brand that I've wanted to try out their tools in the past, even though they don't have a lot. What they do have, I'm interested in trying. So I figured I'd at least pick this one up, give it a shot. If I like it, then I may pick up some of their little bit sets that have a good variety and little ratchets, and so they got some pretty cool stuff. Not very much, but they got some cool stuff. So this one I just thought was really cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick look at it, share my thoughts on it with you guys. If you guys enjoy, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. If you guys are interested in this, I'll have it linked down in the description for you guys. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Let's go ahead and take a look. So here I just wanted to make a quick video on a product that I picked up from Labear. I'm going to kind of compare it to two of the others that I have on hand, one that I don't really use, one that I do use fairly often, and the one I just picked up. So these are bit ratchets, and these are great for extremely tight spaces, up in dashes, underneath dashes, trim panels, molding panels, things like that, like the underbelly panels, certain situations, wheel well liners, things like that. Bit ratchets can be fantastic. They have their place, and they're great for those really awkward and tight spaces. This one is from Molework, which was sent to me years ago with a few bits and a few other products, and it is basically your most generic design bit ratchet. Very low tooth count, very simple design. It works for the most part. The back drag is a little heavier on this. The reverse switch, you can see its design here, very simplistic. And as far as retention style, it has a small detent right there that you guys can see. Just a small little pin detent. And that just applies a little bit of pressure to the bit inside the ratchet, and that's its overall design. This one is Silver Eagle from Matco, and this one is more of a ratchet design. You got that more ratchet look. It's got a slight angle here to get your hand up away from whatever you're working on. It's got a little bit higher tooth count. I think this is a 15 tooth, so very low tooth count. And then this, I want to say, is a 60 tooth, and it does have a more ratchet-like reverse switch. Still a decent amount of back drag, but not nearly as bad as the generic design. And back in the day, this was harder to find and these were more common. Now you can find sets of these for extremely cheap. You can get like a set of two, and it'll be two different designs, two different shapes. There's a lot of combo sets out there from many different brands, but I've enjoyed this one over the years. I've used it quite a bit. I use it a lot for up inside dashes and up on top of the dash, up near the windshield where things get really tight. And this uses a kind of a spring clamp style retention. It's kind of hard to see, but it's a U-shaped. It's just got a little, basically, finger at the top that reaches out on both sides and applies pressure to the bits, which tends to work pretty well. And then I came across this just a couple months ago, and I had mentioned it in an Amazon Tool Deals video that I did. And I was getting ready to order this and the gear wrench new locking flex head ratchet, and so I just decided to pick this up because it's $15, not on sale. You can get it in like a goldish yellow, the red, the black. and I believe green. So they have a few different color options, and it is keychain. I'm most likely just going to remove the keychain. It is something that you can easily throw in your pocket. And when I was first looking at this, the only thing that worried me, it intrigued me, the bit holder on the Ratchet, but it also worried me that it was going to be an issue if I throw this in my pocket or toss this around, that the bit holder is going to get lost or the bits are going to fall out. But it is actually secured really well in here, and it uses a screw here. It's a hex shape, so not only is there a magnet in here that holds it in place, but it goes in. It's not just a circle where it can spin or flop around. It's actually quite snug. There's a magnet in there, and then it clicks in. So, I mean, it is quite secure. I'm not afraid of it coming out whatsoever anymore. That has been verified. So I do like the design that they went with here. It keeps it the same shape as the Ratchet handle. And then, like I said, I'll probably end up removing the keychain. It is probably something that I will keep in my pocket at work, because I do tend to remove a lot of little trim pieces and panels and stuff, and this would be really handy. While these aren't bad to throw in your pocket either, I like the fact that this is folding and it holds bits. I think it's a great little EDC bit ratchet. It's something that I hadn't came across before of its design. And so while the profile isn't necessarily any smaller, I just like what they've done here, and I like that bits are included. Also, the other thing, you can swap out whatever bits you use. These are actually pretty common. You get 3 Allens and 2 Torques, and they are secured pretty well with the retention ring slots on the bits. There is basically a plastic mold of a ring on the inside, so that ring basically locks into these grooves in the bits, which hold it really well. Here we have a T30 and I believe a T25. So a T25, a 6, a 5, and a 4. If that's not something that you use, you can easily just take if you're going to primarily be using this for Phillips, then it can also be added, and it holds that really well. Also, now just keep in mind that's going to depend on the style. So like these vessel bits, some of my favorite bits, Posi Drive, it uses the ball torsion in the center, so that's not going to be best suited for this bit holder as far as traveling with it in the bit holder. And I'm actually pretty impressed with these bits as well. They seem to be pretty good quality. They got a nice coating on them, a nice finish. They do state the brand, Labear. And yeah, so I like that. But getting into the Ratchet, let's go ahead and remove the bits, set those off. And with this, it's an aluminum, basically, handle here. And you got a little locking button. So you push that in, it is spring-loaded. Open it up. There you go. You got your little Ratchet. It does lock in the open position, and there's very, very little play there. It is a 72 tooth. And you do have this knurled ring around the top side, so you can kind of use it as a thumb drive. And the 72 tooth does feel really good. Very little back drag compared to my other two. And you got your more standard Ratchet design reverse switch here. There you can see the backing plate, where these two kind of use your more Ratchet style backing plate. There you can see the locking mechanism on how it works. So I just like its design. It's very light. The head's definitely got a little bit more weight to it than the handle. It's got this spacer in here to keep it secure, and it feels very durable. So I'm going to be using this over the next couple months. It should get quite a bit of use for what I do. So I think this is really nice. So this does use a magnet, just like the bit holder portion. I actually prefer the magnetic style over these. While like retention for this is very, very minimal on both designs, whether you're using that locking ring groove, which isn't used in this Ratchet, or the torch, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't hold it real snug, so you do have the possibility of losing this in the dash if you're working up in a dash or in a tight space. This one, using that U-shaped spring clamp, basically, its depth is quite a bit more than this style ratchet. So it's going to hold that bit very secure, give it a nice low profile. And while it doesn't like snap around it or anything or use the grooves, the retention on it and the travel is quite a bit. So I'm not afraid and haven't lost a bit out of here, where it's going to be much more common in this design. I like this. I like the magnet, and it holds it really well. It's kind of hard to show how strong a magnetism it is, but it's definitely got enough magnetism that I'm not afraid that I'm going to lose the bit. And that goes for the vessel as well. The other thing that I like, now I couldn't find, I have a bit like this that's a square drive for 1/4 inch drive. I think it's in my work truck. But the other great thing is this one's a little bit longer, kind of unrealistic. I would rather just use a normal 1/4 inch drive ratchet. But in those tight spaces, I would use basically this square design drive in this size. And then I can toss sockets on there, and it can be a very low profile 1/4 inch drive ratchet for up in dashes and stuff. This is just what I had around the shop to show you guys, but that is another example of what I would use this for. Wheel well liners, that's fantastic for. Also, the magnetic nut drivers are great in here as well. I do have some lower profile ones of these as well as longer ones, but that's just another example of what you could use. But I do like the bits that are included. I may swap out one of the Allens for just a Phillips number 2, because that is pretty common for what I come across. There you kind of get an idea of the magnetism on the back end. But I do like here, you can kind of see, not only is this a hex shape, but you can kind of see those ball moldings on here. And so when it's magnetizing, it's also snapping into place. So overall, I really like its design. I like what they've done. I liked how compact it is, and I think it's built well for what it is and what it would be used for. So I think it's pretty good for $15. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I will have it linked down in the description for you guys. If I come across anything kind of unique like this as well, I may pick up one of Labear's bit sets, and they're priced pretty well also. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Once again, if you're interested, it's down in the description for you guys. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.